Hey guys, DJ Rabin here, and I am with Stonebank right now, and he's going to show us how he makes one of his leads in his typical happy hardcore and also hardstyle tunes. You can use this lead in any one of those genres, even like what, trance,
electro,
EDM,
anything,
all that kind of stuff. And of course, you're tuned into Point Blank Music School YouTube, and make sure you check out pointblankmusicschool.com. But let's get started.
boom.
So with Stonebank, obviously you're releasing a lot of different types of music, and happy hardcore is. Would you still say it's your favorite genre?
Yeah, that's where my heart is.
Yeah, nice.
That's where my heart is.
How do you normally start? Like, if you're gonna make a happy hardcore track, how do you normally start?
I probably have some chords. I mean, I can't play this very well. I can jam out random things. I couldn't do it live or in time. I can get ideas down. So that's another thing. I've been doing it over 11 years now, and I think it's only been the last 4 years where I've really been able to get what I've got in my head, like melody-wise and chord-wise, actually on paper, technically. Whereas before, I'd click and hope and then just go, yeah, I'll settle for that. And I've tried to learn the piano, and it's just the most frustrating thing in the world.
It's not for everybody.
Nah. Right, so we have a magic MIDI there. This is a track I'm kind of working on, but I exported the MIDI because I didn't want to sit here struggling trying to click out, because it don't come straight away. Right, so... So you've got your chords, voila, and then that's the top line. So I'll treat them differently. So for example, I'll start off with, so we'll mute this one for now. So default preset, crank those voices up, a bit of detune. And then the pitch, envelope to the pitch, and there's a really short decay, like a very short one, and you'll hear it sort of have more of a transient, like a pluck. Because the oscillators are not re-triggering, it loses that sharp sort of, because it doesn't start the same phase every single time. So I use the pitch envelope to, I'll turn it off. Doesn't feel as punchy.
Cool. So a little bit of decay. A little bit of decay. And
yeah, that kind of helps it sort of pluck through. Reverb. Create the space in the atmosphere with the reverb. And then...
Any particular things you do with the reverb?
Just go for the biggest sort of room. And I mean, I've got presets that I've been hammering for God knows how long, and save them from projects I've done, and just they're tried and tested and worked. Right, so low cut, standard procedure. I mean, sometimes I don't even need it, but it just makes me feel better now and it's there.
And Dance Master 1?
Yeah, pretty much, but my own adjusted version where it's not bringing up the lows. Funny thing is, we all got this plugin because it was labelled as like this mastering, you know, but I think it's awful for like mastering. But for putting it on a bus, it's amazing.
I don't think I know anybody that uses that plugin for mastering. Everyone literally just uses the multiband compressor for Dance Master 1 or 2.
Dance, I think, what do we use? Number 2, I think.
Yeah,
and it's just really aggressive, and it sort of brings up, so you have your leads, you have it, you know, for the melody where there's gaps in between. Once the synth stops playing, you've got the reverb in the middle, that sort of aggressive compression brings it up so it becomes a bit more forward rather than just a noise with a little bit of atmosphere behind it.
So is that the inbuilt?
That's the inbuilt one, yeah. Something about this EQ with the top shelf, it just sort of adds that nice noise to it. And I mean, I've got loads of expensive EQs, and I tend to always go for that as a quick, you know, go-to as a result. And then I'll probably end up near the sort of final stages, knocking it off, adding sort of maybe the slate plugins, you know, with the air and the SSLs and things like that. Gets you on the sort of right road. So what we'll do, I'll take it down an octave. And then I'll tend to add other layers on top, but we'll focus on like the sort of the main bit that people love. It's the top line stuff.
The hands in the air stuff.
That bit.
It sounds awesome already.
For this one, it's a bit different. I don't tend to sort of just stack a bunch of detune saws on and then hope for the best. So it'll be in legato or legato, however you pronounce it. So that these notes here, where they sort of glide.
Yep.
So.
Man, I love that hardstyle-y kind of thing. That sound's gotten really popular lately.
Same thing again with the pitch AB. I'll do that. I'll probably be a bit more aggressive with it.
Again, that's just for a bit of punch.
A dog needs to shut up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Goddamn village. For this one, I'll distort it and run it through plugins. So when you listen to the actual sound that's coming out of the box, it's not that impressive at all. In fact, it sounds horrible. But then once it's gone through, say for argument's sake, I'll add Saturn.
Are these your go-tos?
Yeah. That, probably add a trash as well. And then good old clip distortion. So you can hear without the distortion, it's got a different sort of harmonics and character. And then I'll change the filter on the actual synth. So maybe like a bandpass, more distortion coming from the thing. So when you're moving the cutoff and the bandpass, or it can be an EQ, I usually automate those throughout the melody, so it kind of feels like it's talking to you rather than just some static notes playing. You know, it's a bit more movement, a bit more interesting. So I find a sweet spot where it sort of resonates nicely. And then, so we'll have pitch AB to the LFO, and I'll automate this gain on some notes. So where it goes, this note here, I'd automate the amount that the pitch is being affected by the LFO, so it kind of just
Kind of feels like it goes higher a little bit more.
And I'll copy that across to this one. And then I'll automate how quick the LFO is moving as well, so it just doesn't feel like I'm just adding a bit of wobble on certain notes. And it's just kind of like a trial and error thing. And we can go really quick. So painstakingly go through the whole melody like that. And same again, we'll add, you know, like an EQ before the distortion, and you can kind of, what you're putting into the distortion changes what you get out of it. So kind of like a talk box.
Do you automate that?
Sometimes, yeah. And then I'll put on the reverb, and then Echo Boy delay. And I've got like saved as default presets to sort of what I mainly use them for.
So anything special about those presets? Like?
No, to be honest, it's pretty basic what I do with the Echo Boy. I mean, there's obviously far greater things you can do with it, and there's times when I sort of get involved with it, and sometimes where I just want it. I mean, I used to use the ping pong delay that Stonebank done, because it used to open up with the preset that I kind of just worked in all the things I was doing.
And with the reverb, is it like a specific, like how big is a room, or like is it like a long decay, or?
Yeah, it's a long decay, big room. The lows sort of drop them down, because I don't want the lows coming through in a long tail. You want that kind of air. And then the same thing again, loads of compression, and then I'll put it on there. Then I use the Wave CLA2A, because it kind of adds like a transient to it, but if you push into it too hard, it will just flatten it and it won't sound right. So if you look at it, it's probably too loud now into it. So what I do is gain reduction. So I'll turn it down so it's sort of bouncing in between, so I say -3-ish. So we've got that. So this is kind of like the basic sort of sound. And I'll have one layer where it's kind of talk boxy and sort of vowely on some notes. And then I'll layer it with your more traditional detune saw so that you've got the power and weight behind it, but then you have that different tone on the top, so it just doesn't feel like every detune saw that I've heard for 11 years, and I'm getting bored of hearing them. So I'm trying to add little characters to each song rather than them all sounding the same. I mean, I'm still be tweaking this, so I'll probably add like another voice, another oscillator. So look. And now because of all the distortion and the compression and everything else going on, every minute adjustment I do to the synth will hopefully dramatically change the end result, and sort of hopefully get something that I didn't imagine making, but I'm happy to use.
So at what point do you start adding in all of those inserts?
I think I get like the basic sort of like with the bandpass filter and get a bit of movement going on, and then I'm usually writing the melody at this point, and sort of tweaking the synth to make the sort of right sound for that type of melody, because the key of the track, if it's going up really high, then I need to adjust the bandpass so it's pushing the right frequencies for the key of the track that I'm working in. And then when I get bored of listening to it, then I start adding all the different things to get some character out of it, then trying to get a bit more of a vision of what it's actually going to sound like in the final sort of product. So if I sort of tweak now, I can take off re-trigger, I could add detune, and with all the distortion going on, that's going to change it.
So at that point, do you kind of just go kind of wild and just start
I'll get involved with the, like I showed you a bit earlier, with the automation. So, and then you got pitch bends and that, so have it on 12. Obviously not like that, just the automation. And so trick is to sort of have it where it sort of ramps up to the pitch. So obviously that's 50% bang in the middle, and then 12 semitones down. So it feels. It just makes it feel a bit more advanced than just a simple saw playing the same stuff, and it's just trying to find ways to make it feel like it's talking back to you. So like there, you could have a pitch down, sort of right there. Got this bad boy in there. And you can go overboard with it, and it'll, it's finding that balance. One, writing the right sort of melody so that it's memorable, and it's not just, you're not hitting notes that don't need to be hit, you're just hitting the sweet spots at the right times, not too many notes, not too little. It's, you can have the best sound in the world and not the right melody, or the best melody in the world and not the right sound, but if you can try and get both of those, tweak with it a bit, and you could change things like that to noise. Right, I don't like the detune, it makes it sound messy. And EQ taking off all of those. So we've got something there. I mean, obviously I'd have to copy all this across.
It feels like a lot of this kind of stuff, I mean, I can see that you're doing it quite quickly, and you can kind of think, oh, okay, I think a pitch bend will be good here and there, but it's a lot of trial and error at this point, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you do something a million times, you get a little bit quicker at it. And you'll have patterns in your head that, you've probably done 4 songs ago that you knew worked.
What else do you do to lead? You would add a saw?
Another layer, yeah. So right, I've duplicated it so that the the very little pitch bends that we've done here, copy across. I'm probably not going to have this LFO automation on my saw layer. Get rid of all those, get rid of all those. Also don't need those. And I'll keep the pitch bend on the envelope. So I'll take the distortion off, don't want the band pass. I'm pretty much an init patch now, I think. And I'll take off all these plugins here because I don't need the distortion. So we've got compression. Probably don't need that there because it's going through. Nice and simple. And then this is your sort of over detuned lead to sort of add the body, the thickness and the stereo, the width to the character layer, if that makes sense. So the first one was the character layer. This is the filler, if you like, and then you've got the chords that we've done at the front, which usually end up just being turned down really sort of quiet in the background. So after you've got the kick and the bass cutting through in the mix, I'll make sure that the leads are sort of very audible and clear. And then when there's a little gap that needs filling, I use those detuned chords in the background to kind of fill it out so it doesn't feel dry. So the simplest stuff in the world, just loads of oscillators, loads of detune, pretty much it. I'd love to say there was more. Go again and add some even more. Reckless.
Just go for your life.
That's it. Still got the pitch AB on the envelope.
Do you put that on pretty much everything on Sylenth?
In leads wise, yeah. I just like the fact that it adds like a transient to the sound and it feels like it punches through the mix. You know, when you can just hear that little click, no different to if you had a kick with a subby tone. It's that tiny little click, that transient is the thing that your ear picks up on the top end. It just sounds clean. And so there's our detune layer. Obviously, so we'll get a bit more involved with EQ and that, but
it kind of reminds me of like a guitar almost.
yeah, kind of like a guitar with a top line, and
Yeah.
and that's the same thing with the movement and you know, manually drawing it in, as how someone would play a guitar and sort of move the strings and vibrate and whatnot, and to add, let's say, character in so it's less static.
Can we put like a kick and a bass on that as well, and let's see what it sounds like? A quick one.
We can try. Around your 100 hertz, I think it's 110 hertz on this kick, where it punches through nicely, and then the trick is to add your low end warmth with your bass line in between. By your side bass, here we go. Right, so I'll copy these chords across and let's delete the top ones. No one likes high stuff.
Hi.
So on the things, let's just move this out of the way. Dun, dun. Finish these boring notes. And then what I'll do is I'll add all this to a group. So everything leads, chords, top lines will be here. Then I could do like overall EQ, tighten things out, sort of notch out sort of frequencies that sort of peak on certain notes that I don't want. Bit of flavour, and same thing on the sidechain. Just like that.
Oh, we got a banger.
Just like that.
Nice. And there you go. There's a new Stonebank tune. Done.
Out tomorrow.
Out tomorrow. All right, cool. So let's just listen to the whole thing and then just wait. Listen to the whole thing.
Step by step.
Yeah, cool. Mate, just take my job. Far out.
Right, so step by step, here it is. So chords. Then the top line with the character sound. Gosh, then just needs like a big power snare on the end.
Nice. Do you ever use a Prada snare?
Yeah,
Good
I've
old
made
Prada
a few. Like an instant winner when you put them in.
All right, thank you so much for showing us and taking the time out to show us how you get your leads. And like, that is amazing. Like, you know, obviously a lot of people that are into Monstercat especially, they listen to your tracks, and you know, I'm sure you've inspired guys like me, and I'm sure you're inspiring a lot more like avid producers. So now you can go and steal his style.
Steal it. Steal it. It forced me to do something else.
When they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would.
Anyways, thank you so much for showing us how you get your leads on your hardcore tracks. And also, of course, this can be translated easily to hardstyle as well.
Hardstyle, trance, anything, or even like the electro stuff.
EDM.
That's it, EDM.
And of course, if you guys want to learn more about dance music and making electronic dance music in general, go and check out pointblankmusicschool.com. We've got some free online lessons. And of course, if you want to come and study here, we've got lessons on sound design and production all around. So see you guys around, and check that out.
It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright.
There's one thing I've learnt about music is never update anything, right? Because it don't work how it did before. Like, you know, Sylenth, it comes up every time I open it going, right, there's a new version now, you should download now and try it. It's like, yeah, cool, I've done that. And it was when I was making Who's Got Your Love?
Yep.
And I'd done that, and bearing in mind I had to send off the final master to Masterclass to the distribution for, I think it was like 3 hours time, and that was like the deadline, nothing could change. And then I've updated Sylenth like an absolute idiot, and as I pressed play, every single preset went to that ARP 303 default patch.
No!
So instead of going da-da, it was like diddling, diddling, and I was like, and I think I was on FaceTime to Styles at the time, and I just hear this, what's happened? And I was like, it's all just gone to default. And he's like, oh, what, the one you were meant to be releasing it for? I was like, yeah. And then I went back to early versions of it, and it was the same thing. So I had to literally remake all the synths and sort of as close to as possible, and then mix it, master it, and send it off.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.